take a couple of more experiences of the editors. I'm so fortunate to have both, Dr. Ryan Ellen and then Dr. Roy Chen in the room. But I invite Dr. Ryan Ellen to share his experience of publishing this book. This is very fascinating book. It took almost 2.5 years for us. I'm also one of the co-editor, but we hear from Dr. Ellen. Ryan, over to you.
Sure, thank you. And thanks, Roy. Hopefully he can give some words too, because he was the lead editor on this book. But, I did have a wonderful experience on this. I previously published another book through a small publisher. And that was a much different experience because we sort of took, for the smaller publisher, we sort of took people that were already related to this conference we were doing on this Chinese historical figure. And it was just a very small team. The editor didn't have a whole lot to do with it. And I'm proud of the book from the small publisher, but to be honest, no one's reading this. No one's buying this. No one's heard of this book. And it's barely online. It's not even indexed on Google, and that's tough. But this book has been out for, 6 months or whatever it is. And we can see people are looking at it. People are reading it. People are already citing our work. It's an exciting work too, and people are critiquing it. They're saying, "How can you write a book about COVID? COVID's still happening." That's fine. That's part of social science. We're supposed to get critiqued, and we're supposed to push back on those types of things. But it does create an exciting environment. We got to work with scholars across the world to see what they were doing and how they were able to either overcome or engage with COVID. It's much different experiences from the United States to China to places across Africa and South America even. And for me, I think one of the great experiences, I was working with Dr. Bista, I was working with Dr. Chan, who had experience kind of doing this process the way that they sort of set this up. Again, I had a little bit of experience with the previous book, but I didn't have their, sort of method of going about it. And so learning a lot from them, knowing that, okay, in the future, now I know how to operate this. Now I can sort of do this where it's not just a small group of scholars. I can reach scholars across the world to share in the experience of creating this book and really getting exciting chapters. And I'll say it before, I think you heard me kind of ranting against the big publishers. And I'm not saying that they don't offer anything, because in fact, the publishers that we work with were lovely people. They were very nice, and they helped us, and they edited the book, and they went through it, and they found issues and problems. And so I really liked working with them, and no problems at all on that regard. I don't think it's sort of, working out of greed. They did help in the scientific process. And so this can be something that even if you're going through the big publishers and things like that, that's perfectly fine. And I understand that some people have evaluation metrics that their institution look at. So if you just do an open access book that anybody can get to and you just publish it on your own, maybe that doesn't count for your evaluation. We have to understand we're not going to probably change the space. So we have to play the game that we're sort of all in together. So that's just my 2 cents. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully I'll have some more projects in the future. I just a note, I added a link in the chat earlier about student-run journals. And so I'm just sort of compiling those together, grad student-run journals. If you have any, throw them on there, and we can just have a little list of those. So thank you.
Great. And Dr. Roy Chen, if you want to chime in, that's okay. I know you said something last session as well. And now